everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang. Put a finger down if one day after dropping your son off at school, you decide to put air in that tire that you've been asking your husband to put air in for a couple of days. And as you're pulling out the air pump, a phone falls out. And now you're feeling a little silly because you actually believe that somebody broke in your car the other day. At least that's what your husband told you. So you think that you found one of their phones and you're telling your husband, hey, one of them dropped their phones and it's turned on. I'm going to try to get into it. And your husband at the time decides that for the first time in many years, he's going to come home and he texts you, don't do that. Don't mess with that phone. I'll be home. And I say, hey, let's turn this into the police. And he says, no, don't turn it into the police. Don't do that. And he comes home for lunch for the first time in many years. And during that time, you guys argue and you start getting the feeling that maybe it's not the person that broke into your car's phone. So you ask him for the password. He refuses to give it to you. And then right as he walks out the door, he gives it to you. And you get into that phone and you discover that that phone holds many years worth of that addiction he told you he did not have. Rhymes with corn. And so after you see that, you also see that he was setting up your father-in-law in case he ever was found out, that it would all fall back on your father-in-law. He also impersonated aspects of other members of your family's life, like owning a yoga studio and being a massage therapist. And he also put your hometown as the place where he lived. And then you get on his Facebook that is on there that he said came with the phone, if anybody believes that. So basically when he bought this phone, Facebook was already on there and he thought that the account that was already logged into this brand new phone was really fun and played around on it with and was messaging women all the way back to when you guys met and were dating in 2015. To include when you gave birth alone to your second child in another state. He was in North Carolina messaging women to come over and have a nighttime dance with him, let's say. And then after you see this, you decide to move out and you decide to give him a year to get his stuff together. And then something in your belly says, hey, something doesn't feel right. So you download a dating app to try to find him. You don't find him, but you do find out that he's already dating somebody else and it's not even 3 weeks later. And then he tries to introduce your children to them a week after that. Week and a half. So we'll go ahead and we'll just go ahead and say a month and a half after you've moved out. He's deciding to introduce your 2 children to this woman he just met. And so you say no and you decide that we need to get a custody order in place because this isn't going to work out. And he decides to come to your apartment and tries to break into your apartment, rips your doorbell camera off of your apartment door, and then pushes you into your child who hits their head onto the entryway table. And then so you have to get a protection order against him because what the heck is happening? And then he tells everybody in the world that he would never do this. This is crazy. I am crazy. And he decides to tell everybody that when you finally decide to drop the charges and give him another chance, he tells everybody that he was acquitted and the judge found him not guilty and saw that I was making up everything. So then after trying to co-parent and work with him, you go through years of a custody battle ranging from, okay, you're doing the wrong thing, speeding in the car at 110 miles per hour with our children in the car, getting into car accidents and not changing out car seats or letting mom know. You go through primary custody and now you're back to 50-50 and he's no longer allowing you to talk to your children. So you decide, hey, if you're not going to do this, we're going to have to go back to court. I really don't want to go back to court, but he still doesn't want you to see your children. The ones that he got back to 50-50 by saying, hey, it's not fair, I'm about to get married, I want them to be there, it's not fair, and then went and got married without the children there. So they ended up showing up to their house with you and having somebody they're not used to and kind of hate in their home. And now you have to deal with this because the court systems in North Carolina suck and they don't care that you have to co-parent with an abuser.
What to do, everyday people, man? It's your boy PJ. Today we back with another lit video. Back in the confessional. Yes, we staying lit, big dog. Let's see what she got to say here.
No, absolutely. Let's rewind. There's some things I'll clarify for you guys. The first thing I want to clarify is that I said father-in-law, but I meant stepdad. The man that's married to my mom. He was setting up my stepdad. Why wait a year? I gave him a year because in North Carolina, you have to be separated for a year before you can file for divorce. So I gave him a year. I told him, get his stuff together, be the husband I need, be the father his kids needed, be the man that our family needed. He waited about 3 weeks before he met his wife now. They're married. And then, because I moved out in the beginning of September, he was messing with her, and because I messaged her at the end of September and I told her, you're dating my husband, and she just basically said something along the lines of, I pray God heals you. Then in October, the kids came back home after having a play date with their dad, and my youngest one told me that they met daddy's girlfriend, and that proceeded to send my oldest one into a fit of screams and talking about, daddy said we weren't supposed to tell, why would you do that, we're gonna get in trouble, da 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 da. November,
Blaming the kids.
he tried to come take the kids from me. I said no. I was outside on my porch blocking the door, and then my youngest one opens the door, and that's when all of it broke loose, and that's why I had to go get the protection order. The reason I dropped the protection order is because he was in my ear. He was telling me how I was ruining our boys' lives. Hadn't I already done enough by leaving and ruining their family, and like how they were going to bed crying every night. My oldest one was coming to me and was saying, please don't put my daddy in jail, which I wasn't telling him about that, so I don't know where he was getting it if it wasn't from me. So yeah, I dropped him. You guys sit there and say she's stupid, she knew all along. Like, yeah, there were signs looking back. If I look back, I could see it from a different perspective, but when you're in there, you don't. I mean, when somebody is that you love and you really just want to help and you just want the best for them, I don't know, guys. I don't know. I know now, looking back at Corinne from back then, if I could go back and shake her like a rag doll, I would slap myself around a couple times, say, get your stuff together now. But there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do except sit here, shake my head with y'all talking about, yeah, that past version of me, yeah, she's stupid, right?
All right. Let me just tell you this, man. When I be hearing these stories, I'll be like, I understand what the woman goes through because she found her man cheating. So, okay, bad boy, you know what I'm saying? But do y'all ever think that, like, man, is every woman innocent? Every woman innocent? Like, do women never do nothing wrong? Like, in a relationship, when they get cheated on, and that's the last straw. But it's just a bunch of terrible men out here. Now there are some terrible men, like the ones that are just cheating. But in a marriage, I'm not gonna say that a man will cheat because a man will cheat just because he want to cheat, right? But there are men who just don't feel loved by their wife no more because the wife is so consumed with the kids, so consumed with her career. Women that don't no longer look sexy or no longer get sexy. I think that if you're with a woman and you get her pregnant and she gains weight and you fall out of love with her, you really trash. But if she's trying, if she's still making love to you, you should really, instead of cheating on her, you should try to pour into your wife. But we take the excuse of, well, she don't dress sexy no more. I know this girl, she said, I'm gonna be wearing these granny outfits so you can never say I stopped dressing sexy. She never came to bed sexy. She just said, fuck it. So I either have to learn to love Miss Doubtfire looking at or be, or whatever. So, um, yeah. So, you know, one thing is a big topic. Is like, why do women wait until after they get a divorce to glow up? Why can't they do it in a marriage? Well, I have I have my own opinion of why women tend to look better after the divorce versus during the marriage. A lot of times the kids are young, and over time the kids are growing up, so she's like gained weight and stuff like this. So by the time the kids are 10 and stuff and having all these activities, whatever, she doesn't have time for herself, and then she ends up getting a divorce. Now the kids are even older, and now she has time to focus on herself, less more on the kids that need everything. And now the kids are no longer just in the house with her all the time. Now they're going with the father. So now she has a clear house. Now she can go and work on herself. And that's why women tend to look better. Not the only reason why, but I think that's a reason why women have this glow up after divorce, because it's the stress of the family situation, the family dynamic. Is how much the man is taking on while they're living together. Right. So then when she don't have that stress of taking care of everything in the house, that's why a lot of women be like, marriage only benefits the man in some ways, but in a lot of ways it benefits the man actually. But that's why a woman be like, I need a man that's gonna be a provider, because he's getting all the benefits of, a woman that's staying home, having babies, all this, whatever. If y'all don't want to stay home and have babies and be a homemaker and cook and clean and, iron my drawers, then, I mean, I get it. But that's why society is kind of in this social media debate about men being providers and protectors and all that stuff, and what a woman should do, and what a man or a woman brings to the table in a relationship. Because like when you get in that marriage, it's different. It gets serious. It get thick, and so that's why men cheat on their wives, because they be like, well, she not sexy no more. Well, she not sexy because she got all these things on her plate. Maybe if you helped her out a little bit around the house, a little bit with the kids, things of that nature, maybe she could have time to go work out. Or maybe y'all could find the time to work out together as a family. It's all type of situations. So I don't want to just blame women for these things happening. I'm definitely not just blaming men, because as a man, I know what we'd be doing. And some of us are just cheaters. And some of us just get tired of our woman. That's it. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, let me know what y'all think about that in the comment section.